Still getting torn apart in the defense? Let's fix that. Hey guys, it's Alex again, and today we will go through the basics in defending, what button to press and what it's doing basically. And after the basic controls, we will go into the more advanced defending, where I'll go through how I'm thinking when I'm defending, and just some general tips and tricks for you to get better and hold that clean sheet. Okay, first up we have the jockey, that is performed by pushing the L2 button on the PlayStation. Controller. This is the most used defending tool, at least for me. It's great when you want to face the opponent, because otherwise you're just running backwards, and if the opponent is dribbling, it's hard to keep up with the twisting and turning. But if you hold the L2 button, you are always facing the opponent instead, and you have a broader stance, so you can easily switch sides more rapidly instead of just running with the R2 button. But adding to that, we also have the running jockey as well. It's a little bit faster than the just standard jockey. This is performed by pressing L2 and R2 at the same time. Great for when somebody is running at you, just to follow their path instead of rushing in the defense. Otherwise, you can use it by just holding L2 and R2 and run at your opponent, and if you run into the ball, say that the opponent takes a heavy touch, you will also get an auto tackle where the player gets the ball automatically. But to do that, you need to position yourself 100% correct. The game will not auto tackle for you itself. It's just that you can see that I took the ball from the computer here, but that's just because he ran into me and I had the jockey activated, and that way I'm in a perfect stance to just get the ball. But more on that later in the advanced defending. But this was the jockey. Okay, we have the standing tackle, that is performed by pressing the circle button on the PS5 controller. And as you can see, as in other football games, it's just a standing tackle where you reach to get the ball. As you can see in the clip here as well, my player is reaching to get the ball. And the thing here in goals is that the tackling system is really sensitive, so if you don't get the ball with the standing tackle, you will most likely get your opponent instead, and that leads to a foul and maybe a dangerous free kick, or even worse, you concede a penalty. So you really have to be careful when to use the standing tackle. Just a general tip here, not to go too advanced to it, is that you need to face your opponent when taking the standing tackle. Like, you should face the opponent and the ball at the same time, so you know that you have a clear shot of taking the ball. Because say that my opponent is dribbling and he shields the ball or covers the ball with his body, you will most likely not get the ball. You will get the body of the opponent instead when you push the tackle button. So really the key here is timing, as with all the tackles, but you can't just tackle spam. You will lose control of your defender that way, and the opponent will pass you with ease instead. So the timing is really key here. My favorite tackle, the slide tackle. It's performed by clicking the square button on the PS5 controller. Why do I like this tackle so much? It's because almost all the time when you make a successful slide tackle, you also get the stun of the opponent, that like he's stumbling, and that makes him, what should I say, inactive for a half a second, and that can lead to quick counterattacks as well. And also, as you can see here, if you make a successful slide tackle, I think that the radius on where my slide tackle is tackling, the radius is greater than just a standing tackle, because the slide itself covers a greater area than the standing tackle. So I like to be really aggressive with this slide tackle because you can cover so much space with it. But as I said before, the timing is key here as well. You really have to look out for when the opponent is taking a heavy touch with his dribbling. As you can see here in the clip, the opponent is taking a heavy touch, and that's when I can make my slide tackle successful. If he's just jogging and trying to dribble like most of us do in the attacking box, the slide tackle isn't so effective because you can twist and turn so quickly. But if you are going to defend a counter attack or something like that, where the opponent is playing with such a high speed, they almost always take a heavy touch as well because they are sprinting with the ball. Then the slide tackle is really good for just covering such areas. And if you miss the slide tackle in a counter attack, that's not so bad either, because that makes it so you take a free kick to your opponent instead of having a counter attack, and that way your team can gather up instead of playing like a 3 against 4 or something like that. This gets everyone behind the ball instead, and you can start your defense once again. So it's a reset. Timing is key, and we will go through that more in the advanced defending as well. Okay, just one quick thing before we start. One thing that I forget to mention is how do I know where the pass is going, etc. Check out my pass tutorial that we made before this video that explains how I know where the pass is going, and that helps you in the defense as well. So before you check out this video, check out the passing video before to get an understanding on the passing work. We have come to the most fun part of the video, the advanced defending, and yeah, just like some general guidelines for you to think about when you're actively defending. There isn't a magic formula to defend in this game. There are so many different things you have to think about to be a good defender, and every decision that you make happens like in a millisecond. You have to read the situation very well. If the opponent goes through me here, what is he going to do next? Like, try to think 3 steps ahead instead of just isolating the situation for the specific tackle or the specific jockey, or you get what I mean. Just to try to think, what is my opponent's goal here? Is it to have a 1-2 pass and make the run afterwards, or is it just to play the lofted through ball or something like that? Just try to think ahead. And yeah, I know that requires ball knowledge as well. Like, you have to read your opponent, and that really is the top level of every football game. You have to read your opponent. What is he going to do? Can I fake something to believe that I'm going to go left or right, and then he goes the opposite way? It's just mind games all the time. So yeah, that's like the general thinking of the advanced defending. But a couple of key points that I have when I'm defending to decide if I'm going to be aggressive or not. It's, do I have players behind me when I'm playing aggressive? If I miss the tackle, do I have players behind me that can cover up? If I have that, I have the opportunity to be aggressive and leave the space behind. And also another key point I'm thinking about is the opponent taking a heavy touch. If he is sprinting and taking a heavy touch, then I can be aggressive as well and meet him in that sprint and make a slide tackle, because he will not have so good control of the ball. Like, he can't dribble back and forth. That way I can make a slide tackle and cover his space. The thing to think about is, am I 1 against 2 attackers on a counter attack? Maybe then I need to play some mind games with the opponent to make him slow down with the ball holder. Do I play the other player offside, or do I actively pressure the ball holder directly so I can make my opponent panic a bit and stop with the ball, so I stop the counterattack so my team can gather more quickly in the defense. So that's just some key points to think about all the time when you're defending. I know that was quite a lot of key points I had, but like all of those small decisions goes through my head every time I'm like thinking about what I should do in the defense. And that's just some general tips to make you think as well when you're defending. Like, just don't go in as a headless chicken and just rush everything. You have to have a thought behind everything. Like, you can't rush your defending when you have no players behind you, so you leave all the space for a lofted through ball or a general through ball as well. So just try to actively think, and I will also show you in some gameplay examples how I think as well. So yeah, let's dive right into it. So here we have my game against Akela. I will show some clips from the Glitch Open because this was a tournament where I played really good defensively. We can play the clip here and play the situation first, just here. As you can see, here he passes, and I just... Okay, what did I do there? I just blocked his passing way, and why did I go for that side to cover? And I will show you with the arrows here as well if we just go back a little. So here he has played his pass, and I have actively switched to my defender as well. Here I switched instantly when he played the pass, and here I know that he's facing ball with his body, so the only thing he can do, if he is not going to take a touch, and that will also take like time to dribble left or right, because then he has to take an extra touch before he even plays the pass, because at a high level people want to play fast. So I think beforehand that he is going to play a pass directly here, so I know for a fact he can only pass it here or here. If he wants to pass it here, he would need to take an extra touch, because that's just a 180 pass, 180 degree pass otherwise, and yeah, that will not be successful either way. So yeah, I actively switch to my defender, and I know for a fact that he wants to play it here, so I will just take my defender and L2 to face my opponent and just block the passing way. So that's it. As you can see here, I successfully blocked the pass, and even if he sees that I'm putting my player there and I don't intercept the pass successfully, he would have to start again and recycle the ball and dribble back, and that way I have stopped his initial attack either way. So yeah, that was just some quick showing here how I'm thinking in a isolated situation. And just to show quickly here as well, off a corner, we all face these all the time because almost everyone is taking a short corner nowadays, and you will always have a player standing here. And yeah, you can pressure initially with this one because you want someone to mark the receiver here, but as we play the clip here, you can see that there is no point for me to actively have this player for so long, because right now he's just standing here and he's marking like this pass here. Either way, it's just this player that's standing here. Sometimes it can be other players as well, but in this example we have 3 players over here. So I actively right stick switch to my player here instead, because I know for a fact that these are the only passing options that my opponent has. So I actively right stick switch, and that's also a key here. Right stick switching is the best way to go to almost always get the player that you want quickly. Because if you press L1, you would have to cycle maybe 2 or 3 times before you get the right player that you actually want for the situation. And in the defending part, 2 switches are too much. You will mess up your defense. Like even 1 switch wrong in the defense with the player switching is too much. And then you can screw up your whole defensive line just because you have a bad player switch. So try to learn the right stick switch. Basically, it's if I have my player selected here and I flick the right stick in this way, in this instance, if I flick it left, it will select this player. If I do bottom left, it will select this player, and so on and so forth. It's just a good way to get the player that I actually want and don't the game to decide for me. So try to master the right stick switching. It's really key for good defense. So if we play the clip here again, as I said, I have my players like in this instance marking 3 players almost, because if you were to play this pass, as you can see here, his player is standing still and receiving the ball. That is not good, I know that, but my player is actively running, so I can take the ball here quite easily. So that's just one thing to have in mind, that you always think what the opponent is going to do. And in this instance, if you place the pass, yeah, the receiver will be standing still and I have the momentum going forward, and now you can just run into him and take the ball. And that way also starting a quick counter-attack, as you can see here. So really key in this game to master the defense, because that way you will gain the attacking opportunities as well. And as you can see here, I miss, but yeah, almost a goal at least. And here we can see I lose the ball. Akela is trying to counter. I'm actively right stick switching again, and here he takes a heavy touch, and then I can make my standing tackle and I can counter attack again. And as you see there, that heavy touch costs him the possession, and as I said before, that's the things to look out for. When is the opponent taking a heavy touch? Yeah, then I can be aggressive and try to take the ball. And here I actively try to push up my defending line as well, just to make Akela stop his counterattack, stop his running, because that way I can get my players in position as well. So I try to pressure with my central midfielders first, and then I press up with my defenders as well. As you can see, I push up with my center backs because I know for a fact that my other defenders will cover up if I make a mistake and just lunge forward. So that's why I can be aggressive as well. And something to mention, like when is the right time to just cover a passing lane and don't pressure the ball holder. Here I think I have a good example of it. Like he's on the left flank here, and what should he do with the ball here? I don't need to pressure him here, because if I pressure him, I'm just giving him an opportunity to gain ball control centrally in the field. So as you can see here, I just jockey and try to cover the passing lanes. I try to cover 2 passing lanes at once, just standing in the middle of 2 players. So I know that if he plays a pass, I can actively defend straight away and put pressure on him. But here I let him make his run. As you can see here, he plays through the ball, but I actively right stick switch right away, because I know this one and this one is his passing options. If he plays here, that's okay, because then I can pressure with this player instead. This passing player will not be active because he will be standing still, and also this player is running to track back. But I actively right stick switch to this player and make him run down the line here to cover the passing lane for this player. And as you can see, I successfully take the ball, and then it's a sloppy pass, yes, but that way I would have, if that pass was better for me, I would start a counterattack once again. Here we have a good example again. I lose the ball here because of a bad pass, and Akela is starting a counterattack. Here I'm playing very aggressively, and as you can see, there was a heavy touch, and he initiated his pass before the player even got the ball. I could right stick switch fairly early and just select my left center back here. See, I have selected him already here, and I see the heavy touch, and then I just run straight here because I know that he will play the pass. I was running towards him, but I saw that he played his pass. You can see it down here as well, as you can see that he powered up his pass. And then I will just go here and block the passing lane, as you can see. Yeah, I successfully take the ball. So it's all about like micromanagement all the time. Is he taking a bad touch? Is he going to pass? Like, you have to read every situation and also plan ahead. If I were to get beat there, I have the ability to take my left back as well by right stick switching to cover the area for my left center back as well. Here we have an example where I'm not aggressive because I have actively switched to this player, and I know that if I pressure here, I have no space to cover up for my mistake with this player or this player as well. So here I'm pressing L2 to jockey, just because if he takes bad touch, I have the momentum to just L2 and let go of the L2 button and just straightforward instantly. But here you can see that I'm L2ing and I'm tracking manually the run of the attacker, because if he wants to play the lofted through pass, I will be able to head it back to the keeper as well. So here I'm passive instead, because I know that I don't have any players to cover up for me, and then I can bait him into the pass and I successfully gain possession of the ball once again. So that's the reason I made that decision, because I knew for a fact that I didn't have any defenders backing me. So that's why I wasn't aggressive that time. I just want to mention one thing as well, because in these matches I don't have the opportunity to play against someone that recycles the ball as much, because I'm the one doing that in these matches. But we all have some matches when we face one opponent who is actively trying to recycle the ball, and here you have to be really patient in the defense. Just try to L2 most of the time in the penalty box, actively right stick switch to cover the passing lanes. Here we can see that Frostbreeze is actively trying to chase me all the time when I have the ball. Like here in this area, I wouldn't even actively switch to one of these players, because what am I going to do here with the ball? I can't finesse it in here. The only thing I want to do as an attacker is to get the ball into the box. I would right stick switch to this player and cover the area here instead. Also press R1 to try to pressure the ball holder with either this player or this player. So just try to read the situation and cover the passing lanes with a defender here, or this would be a CDM, I think. Just cover the passing lanes and put pressure on the ball holder instead that way, because if you actively trying to chase with a player, that leads to a goal scoring opportunity instead, because as you can see here, it's so easy to just twist and turn every time. Here I have a great opportunity that gets blocked in the end, but I think that he could prevent that shot even before it happened if he just tried to actively right stick switch instead and just cover the passing lanes. But that's not a guarantee that you get the ball all the time either way, but just try to minimize every opportunity that you can. Here's a situation as well. He plays a lot through pass, and here many people would panic and just go straight to the attacker here because he wants to stop the attack. But I see that this player here is making a run, and if he doesn't pass it, I'm also able, even if I run here with my defender, later when I have run here, let's say, I can pressure him that way as well if he were to go just straight forward. So here is the mind games I was talking about. Like, just try to cover as much as possible, and here I decided to cover the pass instead because I know I can recover as well if he just runs straight ahead instead. But here you can see he plays the pass and I'm successfully there. Yeah, maybe if the pass was better he would have a opportunity, but it's all about the risk minimizing in the defense, as I said before. So yeah, try to always think 2 steps ahead. Like here I thought that if I cover the passing lane, I am able to recover the runner, if we can call it that. If he were to run instead, I can cover both options there if I do it that way. Okay, that was it, the defending part of goals. It's really hard, but as I said in the advanced part, well, like this video is to get you actively thinking in defense rather than just push a button. Try to think 2 or 3 steps ahead all the time. What happens if I go this way or that way? Will the opponent think I'm going to cover left or right? It's all about the mind games in the end. So yeah, there isn't a magic formula to win you more games, like pushing the circle button 2-3 times in a row. Try to actively defend and actively think when you're defending as well, and that will make you have great success in defense. And as I said before, try to master the right stick switching. It will get you in better positions in defense, and it also makes you be able to read the situation before it even happens, because you can right stick switch early. You can't do that with L1 because the L1 will take the closest player either to the ball or the player that you had selected before. So yeah, that was it for the defending. I hope you learned something new today, and comment down below if you have any questions. I will gladly answer them, and as always, see you on the pitch. Bye.